You know you're desperate when a sketchy piece of paper taped to your building's entrance actually feels like a real opportunity. I was broke. No job. No savings. Just anxiety piling on top of unpaid bills. I had spent the last 2 nights staring at my ceiling, trying to figure out how I'd make it through the week. And then I saw it. It was a small, crumpled paper stuck next to the mailboxes in my apartment hallway, handwritten in messy blue ink. It looked like someone had torn it from a notebook. It said, "Looking for a night guard. 1 night only. Paid in cash. No risk." That's it. No name. No company. Just a phone number. Normally, I would have laughed it off or ignored it. But I wasn't in a position to be picky. I took a picture of the paper, stared at it for a while, and eventually, I called the number. A man picked up. His voice was strange. Cold, calm, distant. He gave me an address. Some old warehouse outside the city, near a gas station I vaguely remembered. Told me the shift started at 10 p.m. and ended at 6 a.m. Said I just had to stay inside the main office and, no matter what, not leave until morning. That was the one thing he repeated, don't leave the office. I asked a few questions, but he didn't really answer. Just told me the key would be waiting in mailbox number 11. Then he hung up. I probably should have felt nervous. But honestly, I felt numb. I just wanted the money. I told myself it was probably some eccentric guy protecting junk he thought was valuable. Easy cash. 1 night. No problem. So I went. The warehouse looked abandoned. It stood behind a chain-link fence on a cracked old lot surrounded by tall weeds and silence. No lights, no guards. Just this long, windowless building that smelled like rust and dust the moment I stepped inside. I found the key exactly where he said it would be, in mailbox 11 near the front gate. It was taped to a folded note that simply read, "Office, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Do not leave, no matter what you hear." At that point, I was thinking maybe this was all just some weird rich guy's idea of a prank or security game. Maybe a test. Maybe even illegal. But I still went in. Inside, it felt wrong. The air was stale and heavy, like it hadn't moved in years. I walked down a narrow corridor, past empty metal shelves and broken furniture. The only light came from my flashlight, which flickered once or twice, just enough to put me on edge. The office was near the back. A small room with a dusty desk, 2 chairs, a flickering old lamp, and a cracked TV monitor showing static from 4 grainy security cameras. No one else was there. I found a generator humming in the corner. It must have been powering the cameras and lights. The monitor showed feeds from inside the warehouse. The main floor, a hallway, the front entrance, and a staircase I hadn't noticed before. There were no outdoor cameras. No way to check what was going on outside. I sat down and waited. The first hour was uneventful. Boring, even. I played with my phone, stared at the camera feeds, listened to the low hum of the generator and distant creaks of the building settling. Felt like easy money. But something about the silence felt too complete. Like the building was listening. Like it had been waiting. At exactly 11:57 p.m., I heard the first sound. It started with a soft knock. Not loud, not urgent, just deliberate, like someone tapping their fingers slowly on hollow wood. I checked the cameras. Nothing. All 4 feeds were still, no movement, no shadows, no signs of life. But the knock came again, this time from farther down the hall. Then a third knock. Closer. Louder. I stood up, holding my flashlight like a weapon. I don't know what I thought I'd find. Maybe someone messing with me. Maybe the wind. Maybe a rat. But the hallway was empty. No footsteps. No doors ajar. Nothing. I sat back down, trying to convince myself I was just on edge. Just tired. That's when the monitor flickered. For less than a second, the screen showing the main warehouse floor glitched. I leaned in, rewound the feed. First, I thought it was nothing. Static. Compression artifact. But frame by frame, I saw it. A figure. Just for a split second, between one frame and the next, Someone standing in the far corner of the warehouse just outside the edge of the light. Motionless. No features. No clothes I could make out. Just a human-shaped absence, darker than the darkness around it. When I blinked, it was gone. I ran to the door and locked it. My heart was hammering now. Every small creak of the building felt like footsteps. Every shadow on the camera became a question. Had it always been there? Had I just missed it before? At 1:14 a.m., I saw movement again. Camera 2, the hallway. The one right outside the office. Something passed in front of the lens. Not fast. Not blurred. Just wrong. Like reality didn't know how to render it correctly. And then I heard breathing. Not mine. Something shallow, raspy, right outside the door. The lights flickered. The TV buzzed. Then came the voice. My name. Not shouted. Not whispered. Spoken. Clearly. As if someone who knew me was standing inches from the door. Waiting. The lights went out. Just like that, total blackout. The hum of the monitors, the low flicker of the ceiling light. All gone in an instant. I was swallowed by silence. Then came the sound again. A dragging. Like something heavy being pulled across concrete. Closer. Louder. I sat frozen in the chair, gripping the flashlight with both hands, barely able to breathe. My thumb hovered over the switch, but I didn't turn it on. I don't know why. Maybe part of me didn't want to see. I heard footsteps then. Slow. Deliberate. They started at the far end of the hallway and moved toward the office door. I counted every step. 8 steps. Then silence. And then the door handle turned. It didn't shake violently. It wasn't like in horror movies where something tries to tear its way in. No, this was worse. It was gentle, careful, like someone testing to see if I had locked it. I had. Then came a sound I'll never forget. A quiet exhale, just on the other side, as if whatever was out there was amused. And then the cameras blinked back on. Static at first, and then one by one they returned. Except for camera 1. It was now showing the interior of the office. My office. The room I was in. I stared at the monitor. My breath stuck in my throat. I could see the back of my own head, hunched in the chair, frozen. But behind me, just at the edge of the screen, was a shape. Tall, thin, head tilted, watching. I turned around instantly. No one. The room was empty, but the air, it felt wrong. Dense. Electric. Like the second before a thunderclap, when your skin prickles and your brain says run. The screen flickered again. The shape was gone. And yet I knew it had been in here. It had stood behind me. The worst part? My reflection in the monitor wasn't moving. But I was. I turned everything off. Pulled the plug from the wall. I couldn't take it anymore. Then I sat there in the dark, with nothing but the silence and the steady sound of breathing that wasn't mine, waiting for dawn. When morning finally came, the first thing I noticed was how quiet everything was. The silence was heavy, like the night had swallowed every sound and kept it all to itself. The office door was unlocked. No sign that it had ever been closed the night before. It felt like the nightmare had just slipped away with the darkness. Outside, the street was empty. No cars, no people, no signs of the world I'd left behind when I arrived. It was like I had stepped into a ghost town, one frozen in time. I didn't see the security cameras anywhere. The ones I had watched all night, the ones that showed the shape standing behind me, had vanished without a trace. Back home, I found the envelope waiting for me. Thick paper, no return address. Inside cash. More than enough to pay off my debts. No note, no explanation. Just the money. And the worst part, every night since then, I feel it. That same presence outside my door. Watching. Waiting. Silent. I haven't told many people about what happened. They wouldn't understand. They'd think I'd lost my mind. But I know what I saw. And I know that one day I might have to answer the call again.